Thanks for joining us today on the What Podcast, helping you to support local, use local and buy local. Letting you know what's happening, what's on and what's on offer in the local area. The What Podcast.
Welcome to the What Podcast. My name is Liam Stone. The What Podcast is brought to you by whatoffers.co.uk, the local platform dedicated to supporting local businesses. So get behind our campaign to support local, use local and buy local wherever you are. Now, today's podcast is a sort of special podcast that we're doing once a month now, which is our July 2022 podcast that is kind of replacing one of your articles, which was the sort of the Best of What Monthly. It's quite funny actually, because this time last year we were printing out a magazine that went out to 50,000 homes in the Dunfermline and surrounding areas every 3 months. And then at that time we had a lot of people sort of saying to us, well, can you not just make this a digital magazine rather than printed? And obviously we were conscious about the environment and, you know, obviously the amount of paper it was getting used and things like that. So that's what we did. We decided, okay, let's make this digital, and that's where this platform that you're maybe watching the podcast on, What the Live, kind of came about. It was the sort of digital version of the magazine where we were putting up articles and talking about businesses and things like that. And we then decided to sort of make a sort of monthly article, the Best of What, but you know we felt, well, let's take it one step further and let's just make it a monthly podcast, and that's what we're doing now. So this is our first one, which is, as I say, for July 2022. So each month we'll be looking at doing a sort of once a month podcast that will just talk a wee bit about what we've been doing earlier in the month, maybe what's coming up, and also having a bit of a laugh looking back at, you know, things like what we were doing 10 years ago and stuff like that. So you might recall earlier in the month we had a podcast special with Stevie Agnew as he was doing a local gig at Panas Restaurant. It was a fundraiser. They were trying to raise money to help an orphanage or build an orphanage in Bangladesh where they'd suffered for a lot of flooding and things like that. It was really good to hear that Stevie had a great night at Panas, and they managed to raise between them, you know, obviously all the different acts and things that were there and the different events that was going on. They managed to raise £8,000 for from the event. So I'm sure that's going to obviously greatly help when it comes to the orphanage in Bangladesh. So well done to Stevie and everyone else that was involved in that. Now, we are planning on having Stevie back in the podcast sometime later in August, and he's going to be going over to Bangladesh with obviously presenting the money to help to build this orphanage, and I think he was planning on putting the first brick in place and things like that. So we're hoping to have Stevie back in the podcast to tell us how that went, and hopefully we'll have some images and videos that we can share with you to show you how that money that they've raised is helping to change the lives of the kids over there. So well done to Stevie and everybody else involved, as I say. Now, if you've been paying attention through our Facebook page and on the podcast, you might have seen that we have our weekly competition of What Wednesday Winner. And you know, the reason that we do this is to try and help get more support for local businesses. We're, you know, getting, you know, people mentioning local businesses and things like that. Now, we've had loads of different entries for people mentioning loads of great local businesses, hundreds of local businesses that have been mentioned over the course of the last few weeks. But since we started the competition, we've done quite a few different things. We started it off with a £50 meal voucher, which was won by Julia Brady. We then done a free cut and blow dry at Color Hairdressing in Dunfermline, which was won by Kirsty Hamill. We then gave away a Knockhill BMW hot laps experience, which was won by Graham Brady. And we then changed up the competition a little bit, where we were asking people to mention local businesses that they would want to spend 50 quid in. And the first week that was run, it was won by Pepe Benzoni, who had mentioned Balmule Valley Fishery, which he won £50 to spend there. And the following week it was Erin Innes who had mentioned Everest Inn, and she won £50 to go and have a meal at Everest Inn. So we hope everybody's enjoyed their £50 vouchers and their experience days and things like that. And you know, well done to everybody that did enter, that maybe didn't win, for mentioning all these great little businesses that are around us. Keep it up. If you haven't entered before, make sure you check out our Facebook page where we announce a new weekly competition every Thursday that you can get involved in. And hopefully have a chance to win some money or whatever it is that we've got up for grabs that week. Now, it certainly feels like we're powering through the summer now. This week we've had our first red alert warnings for extreme temperature. Yep, see, it's who says we didn't get someone from Scotland? We didn't get red up here. We got the amber though, but it's still been warm. Thankfully, we're not quite through the whole summer yet. We've still got quite a few weeks left of the kids off school, and we hope you've obviously been supporting all the great local businesses while you've been enjoying your summer holidays so far. Coming up soon, we do have the Fringe starting in Edinburgh, so I'm sure many will be heading over there to join in the fun. Often loved going over there, more so when I was maybe a bit younger and a bit fitter, but I love going over there and watching especially a lot of the street performances and things like that. It's certainly a fun event. We're actually planning on having one of our own in the mix there, so bringing us some inside news from the Fringe and, obviously what's a bit of what's going on. One of our members actually play in one of the bands at the Fringe as well, so he'll be hopefully bringing some news for us. But make sure that you go and support the local talent there, especially the local talent that's UK talent as well. You might know, but in order for people to play at the Fringe, it does cost a lot of money, especially if they want to play in the venues. Often they'll be needing to pay guarantees to the venues regardless of how many tickets they sell. So, if you decided to, I don't know, make a performance or a band or a show or something like that, and you wanted to perform in one of the bigger venues, you might be making a commitment of £2,000 straight up front, to that venue to say, I want to play there, it's going to cost you £2,000. And that doesn't matter how many tickets you sell. So, if that venue only seats 100 people, and you can maybe only sell 50 tickets at 20 quid each, then it's cost you £1,000 to go and perform in that stage. So a lot of companies or a lot of brands and entertainers and things like that often end up going to the event, and it costs them money, especially by the time they put into consideration the promotional flyers and posters and accommodation and all the other costs that come associated with it. So make sure you go and support the local talent there, so that hopefully they don't come away with the Fringe ending up owing money and in debt for being there. But it is a great time for everybody, so get yourself along there and enjoy that. Now, our mascot Matthias has been busy on social media. He's been making loads of new friends and promoting some things from What To. So if you've not seen Matthias on Facebook yet, then you can find Matthias Platius and connect with him. And he'll share things for different things that are going on in What as well. Matthias was actually in his comic sketch this month, where he meets Flower, his long-lost cousin, who was designed by Krista Jameson from Masterton Primary School. And Matthias even gives a wee mention to Impact Blinds in the short sketch too. We actually managed to work out a way how we could incorporate a comic book that maybe raised awareness about endangered animals and environmental issues and things like that, as well as bringing a mention to local businesses. And you can have a look and see that sketch on in What.live. One thing I like to do, or one thing we plan to do in these podcasts for the once a month podcast, is having a little bit of a trip down memory lane. As always, people love these sort of things. We thought about various different ways to look at it, but we thought, let's just have a look. What was going on 10 months ago, or 10 years ago this month? You might remember some things 10 years ago. For some people, that was a long time ago. For me, it felt like it was just yesterday. We had 4 number ones in July 2012, or 2012. So Some of these songs you might remember. Don't Wake Me Up by Chris Brown. This Is Love featuring Eva Simmons with Will I Am. We had Spectrum, Say My Name with Florence and the Machine, and We'll Be Coming Back by Calvin Harris. They were 4 of the number ones that were in July 2012. Some of the other more popular songs in that month, I remember we had the song Black Heart by Stussy. That was the one that was on the advert, I think. I'm trying to remember the name of the advert that it was on. It was on one of the, I think it was it Marks and Spencer's or something like that. I remember it was on one of the adverts, and it kind of became quite popular. Whistle by Flo Rida, Princess of China by Coldplay and Rihanna. But I can't remember. It seems like so long ago, actually. It seems so long ago, but I remember it like it was yesterday. And there was various other ones. And, somebody that never heard much after that was Cheryl with Call My Name. So you might remember these songs. A lot of these people didn't even exist anymore, but some of them do. In terms of movies, you might remember we had Dark Knight Rises was one of the new releases. This was the sort of based on the Billboard's charts or the top selling films. Was The Dark Knight Rises was number 1. Amazing Spider-Man was number 2. There's been so many Dark Knight or Batman films and Spider-Man films, isn't there? But that was one. Ted. I don't know if you remember Ted. That was funny. That was the teddy bear that couldn't stop swearing. And Ice Age Continental Drift. I wonder how many more Ice Age are going to make. And then one of your own sort of Scottish themed films that was out in July 2012 was the film Brave for Disney. You probably remember that one. I wonder how many kids took up archery after that. That was also the month that our book charts were stormed by 50 Shades of Greys with various different episodes or books. Did you ever get into that? I never got into that. It wasn't my thing. But they were all over the sort of the book charts in that month with 3 different episodes. We also had The Shadow of the Night by Deborah Harkness and Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. So we'll put up a bit of commenting about these on the podcast below on What.Live. Now in the news back then, there was a few things that was happening back in July 2012. The Wimbledon women's tennis. Serena Williams won her 5th Wimbledon singles crown, and then 5 hours later went on to win the teams event with her sister Venus. So she won the doubles title as well as the singles within the space of 5 hours. And in the men's, Roger Federer won his 7th Wimbledon and Grand Slam, 17th Grand Slam title, and that was by beating Andy Murray. And if I recall right, that was the first time a British tennis player managed to get to the finals of Wimbledon in a long time, and obviously went on to win it long after that. At the same time, other British sporting glory was Bradley Wiggins, who had won the 99th Tour de France. And Queen Elizabeth that year opened the 30th Olympics in London. If you remember that one, for flying in with 007, and I think David Williams was involved in that as well at some point. And the daughter of Princess Anne, Zara Phillips, was part of the GB silver medal winning team at the Olympics as well. Now, one of the other things that was happening in July 2012, which wasn't really shared a lot in the news back then, but actually I was reading about it, was quite interesting, is there was a solar superstorm in July 2012. Now, you might not have heard of this at the time, but a couple of years later it was certainly talked about a lot. But it wasn't huge because it missed us, but it was close. And they said it was apparently at least as strong as the Carrington class event or storm that happened in 1859. And the physicist that is for predictive science, Pete Riley, had calculated that we had a 12% chance of being hit with a similar class storm in the next 12 years. In the next 10 years. So a 12% chance. Thankfully, 10 years have gone by and we've not been hit yet. So thankfully we've made it. Hopefully it won't be coming soon. So that was just a wee bit of what was happening back in 2012 this month. Hopefully you remember some of that. If there's anything interesting that was happening in July 2012 for you, why not let us know? Now, over the sort of the course of the next month, with loads of things that are happening here at What, we're going to be putting a lot of focus into promoting local businesses in Dunfermline and the surrounding areas. If you were not aware, we are a Dunfermline-based business ourselves. So if you have a business or a club or a shop or a brand or anything like that in the area, then get in touch and see how we can obviously help you, and you can become part of your Support Local, Use Local and Buy Local campaign. We talked earlier this week regarding a lot of stats about businesses and how you can market your local business and things like that. So if you've not seen them, you can jump back and see our podcast on Tuesday and on Thursday to see a bit more about that. But obviously we are here to try and help local businesses effectively get found by people that want to find them. Now, I will be speaking to all our pro partners soon. We have now quite a few different pro partners, so I'm going to be speaking to them all this month and make sure that we can catch up with what they're doing, so that we can obviously tell you about anything in the upcoming podcast each week. So make sure to either subscribe to our show wherever you listen, or visit us regularly on What.live so you can see the latest shows. We'll be having some interviews this month, and as I said, Stevie Agnew will be back later in August as well to tell us how things went with his trip to Bangladesh. And next week, just to let you know, we'll have a little bit of downtime on our platform. It's currently scheduled for Friday the 29th of July. We're making some changes and improvements to our servers. So it'll be a short duration. Our site will have to be temporarily put down. But shortly after this, we'll be then starting to make some really exciting improvements to the platform as we welcome a new member to our IT team here at What. We're going to be having a new lead developer that's going to be helping us to do a lot of different improvements and integrations with whatoffers.co.uk, so we can make it a bit more a friendly user experience for everybody, and bring some exciting new tools and features for both businesses and users as well. So it's really exciting times here at What. We hope you come along with us for a ride. After all, we are a local company, and we're here to help support everything about local businesses, and that's why we've got our campaign to support local, use local, buy local, which is run through whatoffers.co.uk and obviously through the podcast as well. But we also need to appeal to businesses to support us also. So if you do have a business, then you can head over to whatoffers.co.uk and you can add your business for free. And if you don't have a business, then you can jump over to whatoffers.co.uk and register for free as a personal user, and you can support all your local businesses by either using them or leaving reviews about them, or whatever it is that you can do to share the news or share businesses with people you know, or anything like that. Maybe you fancy coming in and joining us on the What podcast. You can email me directly at liam@whatoffers.co.uk if you've got anything that you would like covered in the podcast, or anything you'd like to talk about, or if you'd like to come in to obviously see your tuppence worth as well, then get in touch and we'll be happy to discuss that with you. Don't forget, our podcast will be running every week, every Tuesday and every Thursday. So don't forget to, as I say, subscribe to wherever you listen, or as I say, get over to What.live to watch them every Tuesday and every Thursday. Keep in touch with our Facebook page every week on Thursday to see the new competition that will be launched. And don't forget, support your local businesses wherever you are. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Liam Stone. Have a great day. Ta-da.
Thanks for joining us today. Remember, whatever you need, head over to whatoffers.co.uk or what.live to see more of our podcasts, and join us again to see what's up next.